I've had bad hits that last days. The whole arm is just, aching everywhere.
And as soon as it hit both my wrists, straight away, like my hands went just like numb. Couldn't move them. I swam to the surface, took a look at him, tried to move him. I was like, nah, I'm done.
An expert when it comes to the aquatic environment and a recreational fisher. One knows the game, the other is a rookie. But what they both know is that this fish whacks a big punch if you get in its way.
It's one of the times where the venom is purely there for defense, not to subdue prey. Because it's purely used for defense, it causes extreme pain. So animals know not to try and feed upon it again.
Marine biologist Richard Fitzpatrick works with an incredible number of venomous animals, and due to the nature of his work, has had many an encounter with the treacherous cobbler.
So cobblers, when you're either scuba diving and put your hand on them accidentally, or catch them fishing, you've got to look out for those dorsal spines.
For Dane Shardlow, those dorsal spines were the beginning of an agonizing journey. A journey that would take him to a new level of extreme pain.
I was spearfishing with the family, my brothers, my sister, my dad and a mate of mine. My mate and I got in the water first, all geared up, real eager to get going.
Peaceful Bay is situated on the south coast of Western Australia near Denmark. It's a popular tourist destination all year round, and despite the cold southern waters, the stunning ocean setting is one of the major draw cards.
I've probably been in the water a total of 2 minutes. We came across like a cobbler. It was completely green or speckled, really pretty colours, really docile. Just moved really casually.
If you're in the ocean, there's a few different strategies. One is to be going quick and chase your prey down, or you can just sit and wait for it to come to you.
The cobbler is very much a sit-and-wait predator. They conserve a lot of energy, so they're battle-ready if danger presents.
When I dove down towards it, it wasn't startled or anything like that. And I had the loaded spear gun, I thought, this is cruel, being able to just spear it without it having any sort of... So I thought,
Dane was falling into the trap of guessing the unknown, completely unaware of the consequences.
I handed the spear gun off very foolishly to my mate and went to grab it. I had gloves on, I had a wetsuit on which covered my wrists really well, like they were Kevlar gloves sort of thing, so I felt pretty safe.
But a wetsuit is no match for a cobbler. The spines are sharp, and in defense, this is one fish that isn't going to hold back.
I went in to dive down towards it again, and I slipped my hand underneath it and one on top of it, and just grabbed it. As soon as I grabbed it, I realised just how silly that was. Covered in a mucus, slipped out of my hands really quickly.
It was starting to become obvious to Dane that predicting an easy target was going to prove to be a massive mistake.
I think I had hold of it with one hand. It managed to hit me on my left wrist with its side barb, so they got the two there and then the one on top, and then hit me there with the one on the top, and that one was searing.
The cobbler, also known as a catfish, is endemic to Australia. It's a member of the scorpion fish family, but this family member lives in the cooler waters of the country. Like all the scorpion fish, the dorsal spines have a venom sac at the base of each spine, and these spines are like a hypodermic needle. The cobbler also has serrated and poisonous spines embedded in the pectoral fins.
So if you are fishing and you catch a cobbler and you're trying to handle it to get it off the hook, and it hits you from those spines, you're going to get, one, the trauma from the spine going in, which hurts a lot, and then the venom will go in as well.
I swam backwards for a little bit, then rolled onto my side and just gunned it for the shore.
Feeling a little safer closer to shore, he stood up and tried to pull his gloves off, but realized he didn't have the strength to hold onto anything.
I stood there just waiting for someone to come and help me, and I managed to get my mate to pull my gloves off, and then at that point the blood just started sort of bubbling out of the two holes that I'd been punctured by. On the initial puncture, the heat just swelled through both forearms. Like I could feel the flush through the forearm, and it just seemed to travel straight up. Didn't go outwards to my fingertips, just felt like it hit in and then just went up through my forearm. I don't know, I felt like Popeye, big heavy forearm.
By now, his family had come over to find out what was going on, but not having any experience with the cobbler or heard of any incident over the years, it was basically a case of toughen up. Dane was desperate to know more.
And I was thinking, like, I'm really not sure how poisonous these are, I really need to check. But I couldn't even work my phone to try and type in into Google or whatnot.
Whilst Dane was trying to discover how to make the pain stop, the rest of his family were back enjoying the ocean, only momentarily distracted by Dane's attack.
2 hours later, they came out of the water and I was just in the fetal position, just like trying to put pressure on my forearms, and it just wasn't working. Like, no matter what I seemed to do, it was just searing, like really agonizing.
About 6 hours after the excruciating jabs, the pain still wasn't subsiding. He knew he needed medical treatment.
When you're jabbed by a cobbler, it hurts a lot. So the best first aid is to put it into warm water and then slowly build up the heat and then leave it in there as long as possible.
Quickly responding to Dane's arrival, the nurse was anxious that he had taken so long to get to hospital.
She said that with any marine or aquatic poison, you really need to be quick on getting on top of it. For probably about half an hour to 45 minutes, I was taking my hands in and out of this hot water, and the further I could get my arms in, the better it felt. So I was submerging my arms up to like my elbows in this basin, trying to ease the pain. And it would seem I'd get maybe 2 minutes of relief, and then the water would cool and the pain would just be back again. And just that waiting, that few minutes in between each time she came and saw me was just like, oh, it's just head back, come on, I need this to get over with.
Depends on how bad the sting is. Like, I've had bad hits that last days, and then the whole arm is just aching everywhere as a result. And just as often as possible, you just go to the hot shower and just try and get the edge off. But it's interesting when you take the limb straight out of the hot water, pain comes straight back again. So it's not a nice thing.
Unbeknown to Dane, his pain was exasperated as the barbs of the cobbler were still stuck in his wrists. He was soon to realize the importance of getting professional help.
She put these little, not suction cups, but something on my wrist that drew out the venom. And so the first things that came out were the two barbs, and they were these two splinter-looking things that then had like a long string of mucus to it. So when she started pumping these little things out, these strands of mucus and venom came out that I thought was disgusting. Like, that had been in my wrist and up in my body for the last 6 hours. And when that all came out, it was like instant relief. Like, the pain really subsided. Yeah, they gave me the shot of adrenaline and I felt $1 million. Like, I went from being not being able to move and just hating the world to, yep, it's time to let's go dance, let's go do something. The barbs were like a few millimeters long sort of thing. I really felt like I'd have been able to get that out. But yeah, the barbs were in, and then the mucus strain or poison strain that was thick and yellow and just attached to it was disgusting watching that come out. I had no concept of that there'd still be something in the actual wound. It was bleeding, it wasn't like they'd sealed up or anything like that.
With the barbs and mucus of the cobbler removed, Dane was left with what felt like really dull bruising, as though he'd been hammered on both wrists.
It was nothing compared to what that original pain was, the initial pain.
No, it won't kill, it just causes a lot of pain. The only times you get deaths from scorpionfish families with the stonefish. Stonefish has the extreme end of the venom spectrum, but even then it's very rare to get fatalities from stonefish. It's mainly the injuries are just extremely painful.
The cobbler, like most scorpionfish, have disruptive color patterns, so they have really good camouflage, perfect for taking their prey by surprise.
They're just sitting there waiting for a little fish to swim by, just that little too close, and bang, they'll swallow it. And they'll generally engulf their prey in 1/20th of a second.
I've got scars all over me from different things, but this was stupidity at its best.
After 4 long days, the pain had subsided, but the wounds were far from looking good. The puncture points were heavily infected.
Like I said, they were pussy and they were quite terrible, so it wasn't anymore a matter of the pain I was getting. It was now that these punctures were blistery and yucky. It would raise almost like a pimple, and you'd squeeze it and pus it and that would come out. And it wasn't whitish or anything like that. It was just yucky, mucusy looking crap that was not at all enjoyable.
6 months after the event, Dane was left with 2 very small scars.
I kind of see it as a, oh, you got yours sort of thing. Like, obviously, had I not grabbed it, I'd have speared it, and it's kind of like a bit of a karma thing. And I definitely believe that karma is deserved every now and then, so yeah, I feel like, yeah, I probably earned that over the time. One to the fish.